Let me read you a small movement success story I received from one of my clients. The email goes as such. Matthew, I cannot thank you enough for your help with my situation. I'll admit I was a bit apprehensive when we first started working together because some of the advice that you gave me to help me get to my person was completely against what I wanted to do to manifest them. We'd worked together and understood that my attachment and obsession was more so the issue than my routine, my affirmations, and my way of dealing with negative thoughts and feelings. So you gave me some advice on how to work on that detachment, and at first it was scary to put into place because it felt like I was letting her go. However, I am so happy that I did put it into practice because after 3 days of doing so, my specific person reached out to me asking if we could meet up. This was after 6 months of no contact, and I absolutely couldn't have done it without you. Thank you again. I wish you all the best. So this is obviously a very nice and uplifting success story within itself, or movement success within itself. But the reason that I've chosen to put that in this video, aside from giving you guys a little bit of a confidence boost, is because it helps understand and determine why attachment and detaching is such an important part of manifesting. As it said in the email, this person had some good affirmations, they had a good routine and a good way of dealing with the negative thoughts. But it was very apparent to me when working with them that they were very attached. It was like, oh, I still haven't received a text from them. You know, am I still doing things right? Will it work? How can I know it's going to work? And all of these kinds of questions were constantly coming in over and over and over again. And that's what made it clear to me that the attachment as such was the issue. And like they said, I gave them some things to work on it. And after 3 days, they ended up getting the text that they wanted, or a text from their specific person, and hopefully it goes the way that they want it to go. But why was the detaching or the attachment such a significant part to their process? Well, if you think about it logically, if you just simply look at it, what does attachment mean? It kind of means like holding on to. It kind of means, you know, concern to go without. Now, obviously, yes, there are healthy attachments, i.e. if you're actually in a relationship with someone, you are going to have an attachment, you're going to have a connection. But generally speaking, when it comes to someone trying to manifest something, more often than not a person, that attachment can quite often stem into obsession or an unwillingness to be okay with or without, which generally is showing a state of need. Now, when you're needing something, you're showing that you don't have something, therefore in lack of it. And when you're in lack, what do you get? More lack, because your subconscious mind takes in that story of lack and pushes it out for you to experience. If you're coming from a place of need, like this individual was when they were like, I still haven't received a text, is this going to work, when's it going to work, and all of those kinds of questions, you're showing your subconscious mind that you currently don't have it. That lack creates more lack. Therefore, you're in that constant state of need, and it is a complete vicious cycle until you break out of it. So when you do break out of it, i.e. start detaching, that is when you can open the floodgates for all the amazing work that one may be doing, i.e. the affirmations, the visuals, the dealing with the negatives, and all of those kinds of things to flood in. Because your subconscious mind is merely going off of the stories that you're claiming to be true. If you can detach from it so that you're no longer coming from an obsessive or needy place, you are allowing all of that other amazing work that you may be doing to flood in. You're opening the floodgates quite literally up here and allowing your subconscious mind to get to work on it, to which it begins to actually create that reality for you. And the intention behind this video is to give you some tips and tools that you can make use of to detach effectively. Because attachment can also be sort of reworded to maybe be relaxing about the situation. I.e. if you're detached, you're quite chill about it, which is the way that I like to go about my things. And I get a lot of successes quite consistently, both small and big. If I start deciding I want something, it usually comes within a very, very quick time frame. Or if it is a longer time frame, it's definitely not been a grueling journey to get there. Just like my pay rise success story from my job, it took 6 months to come in, but I didn't even notice that it was going by because I was in such a relaxed, it's going to come kind of position. So we want to get you to a position where you're so detached that either the result comes quickly, or if it does take a little bit longer, you're at least having a good time making it happen instead of feeling like it's an awful journey. And this video is going to do that for you. So I recommend you stick it out. all the ways that you can ensure that you get everything that you need to get. So the first way that I want to help you detach is through a manifestation way, and that is to reside within a state of knowing that it is done. What I mean by this is attachment in any given moment often stems from you looking at the 3D to say, there's been no text, they're still not in my bed, I'm still not going home to them, they're still at some distance away from me. And generally speaking, those bad moments will come from you looking at the 3D and using it as validation and a reference point to say what is or isn't true for you. So what we want to do, the quickest fix for this, I suppose, is when you notice that you're going into this kind of position, when you notice that attachment flaring up, or when you notice that you are kind of going into a bit of need and missing, is to remind yourself that it is done. Your subconscious mind is kind of like sat in the back room of your mind. It has no idea what's going on out here. It can only ever go off of what you are focusing on and what your thoughts are dominantly residing in. So when you notice that state of lack, you can quite literally choose to think new thoughts, and your subconscious mind will go off of that. It's kind of like your conscious mind goes into that back room and says, by the way, we've got our person, and that's all it has to go off of. So when you are feeling that state of need or attachment or lack, simply just reminding yourself that it's done. What am I worried about? They're already mine. What am I worried about? I'm going to go home and they're going to be right there. Why am I worried about not receiving a text? They're just busy in the meeting. They'll get back to me. Just a couple of examples, but all of these things are detailing that it is done. It's already your person. You're already receiving those texts. You've already got that job. The interview went amazingly. Whatever it is that you're working on. And by residing within this state of it is done, you are basically going into that back room and telling your subconscious mind, false alarm, it's already ours. And because your subconscious mind doesn't know any better than what you are focusing on, it's going to take that in and go, whew, false alarm, I'm going to keep making this relationship. I was worried I was going to have to go and undo everything and go back the other way. So the quickest way to deal with it is to just notice when you're in that state of need and lack and redirect yourself back to that state of knowing it is done. Whether you want to do that through affirmations of just simply residing in, I'm in a loving, committed relationship, I'm so happy to be working for a company, this new house that I have is amazing. Or if you want to do the first examples that I gave, which was kind of like what am I worried about? It's already mine. And kind of like an empowering self-talk kind of way. Or if you wanted to visualize the scene, doesn't matter the way that you go about it, but by showing your subconscious mind that it is done, you're aiding it in taking that story in and pushing it out for you to be true. And because you can choose what your focus is on at any given moment, if you're spiraling over that state of lack and attachment, you are choosing to focus on the lack of having your desire, where instead you could choose on what it would mean to have it. You could choose those feelings, you could choose those thoughts. And by doing this, you will be choosing a reality that is in alignment with what it is that you actually want. Now the second tip, and this is when it gets more into sort of a practical process, is to understand what it is that you're actually attached to and start providing it for yourself. Now I'm not a psychic, but I imagine it's this tip and the next one that my client was talking about was a bit scary to put into place, but were the ones that really helped him move past it and get that text from his person. Now what I mean by this is, generally speaking, there are reasons why we want certain people more than others. We all have a type, we all have a specific kind of person that we want to go for or would prefer to go for. This is the same for anything, not just physicals, but a personality, a way they make us feel, experiences, all of that. So what I recommend you try to do, and this is actually something that I did as well to help myself release attachment when it came to Katie, is to understand what you are specifically attached to. Because the likelihood of this one individual, and this may be scary for you to hear, but please don't click off because it's going to help you. The likelihood of this individual being the only place that you will ever be able to get this kind of fulfillment from is very, very unlikely. There are definitely other people out there that could give it to you, and in a lot of instances, you can give it to yourself. And that's actually what I recommend you do. If you feel like you're extremely sad now, but when you're with this person it's exciting and it's joyful and you just, every day is a mystery, provide that for yourself. Start now doing things that are exciting, joyful, and provide some kind of mystery or some kind of excitement in that way for you. Whatever it is, if it's community, start trying to find your own community. If it's having someone to have deep conversations with, start working on finding new friends or community groups that you can have deep conversations with. Now, the reason why we want to do this is because the attachment and lack that you may be feeling will be in alignment with, I don't have this experience or these feelings or what this person provided me right now, which is why I'm attaching myself to where I once had it or where I expect to get it from. It's just like if you are the only kid in your school that doesn't have the newest iPhone, or if you're like something like that, then yeah, you're going to be like, I want the iPhone to fit in with everybody else. As soon as you get it, you feel normal to yourself, therefore, feeling more content. Same thing here. You're kind of expecting that once this person comes in, that's when you're going to feel the excitement again, the happiness again, the joy again, and therefore keeping you in that state of lack. Whereas if you can work to provide yourself those things, and I'm going to be honest with you, I know that it's not going to be exactly the same as if they did it, but if you can work on providing yourself the excitement, the joy, the fulfillment, have new hobbies, find a community group, have things going on, you're going to be providing yourself these stories, these feelings, these experiences, and therefore not in need as much from this other individual to provide it for you. Therefore putting yourself in an abundance of these experiences, feelings and stories, therefore making it easier for you to manifest this person. Because remember, we get more of what we are, not what we want. We get what we are claiming to be true or what we're in an abundance on by what our focus is placed on. So if you're providing yourself the experiences that you're expecting to get from this individual, you are now in abundance of those experiences, those feelings, those stories, therefore making it so that you are no longer disconnected from the version of you who does have this individual, actually making it easier for them to come in, as my client experienced with their specific person reaching out to them. So if you need to, get a pen and paper, write out a list of what it is that you're expecting will change when they come in, and please try harder than just because I love them. Actually try to understand what it is that you love about them, what it is that they provide you, get deeply clear on it, and then start to provide it for yourself as best as possible. If this video has been of any value to you, please drop me a like and a comment just to let me know. And to those of you who are new here, this channel intends to be all about making manifestation simpler, more effective and more practical for those learning for the first time or who have not had much experience or success as they would like. So if that's something that you would like in a manifestation channel and a coach, please consider subscribing, because I drop multiple videos a week and all of them are there with the intention to help you manifest your desires. Thank you so much for your time. Now into the final point.
Editing Matthew here, and I realised I didn't actually announce who the winner of the competition was in this video, so I'm going to do it now. The winner of the competition I did on Monday for either a free video call or free 2 weeks worth of email coaching with me is actually Aiden with this comment right here. Now there's two reasons why I've done this. The first one, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated for the extra work that I do. Now there was tons of comments of people saying, we really appreciate the work you do, but this one describes it exactly how I would, with going above and beyond. Not to put any other coaches down, because everyone absolutely deserves the recognition, but I do feel like I put in a lot more effort overall and provide a lot more value, so it's nice to know that that is appreciated. The second thing, Aiden has also been a long-time supporter of the channel, so it's really nice to be able to give back to those who have supported me for so long. So thank you so much for this comment, Aiden. By all means, drop me an email at mindoverthismatrix.com and we can go from there to set up your coaching. As for everyone else, thank you so much for participating, and don't worry, there will be more competitions in the future. Bye-bye.
The third tip that I have, and this one is definitely the scariest one, but also one that makes the process much more freeing. Consider the worst case scenario. Now I do recommend you only do this like once or twice, because we don't want to be dwelling on the things that we don't want. But often, fear and what we dwell in when we're fearing something is our mind actually trying to prepare us for the worst. Our mind loves comfort. In comfort is safety, because obviously we're a species built on survival. If it is something that is unknown, it is automatically determined as unsafe. We may not like directly state it as that, but we may internally react as though something is unsafe. So what our mind does is it tends to obsess over those things that are unsafe in order to try to make them familiar to us, therefore making it more comfortable. So when you're fearing that your person goes off with someone else, or if you're fearing the breakup and things like that, What your mind is trying to do is it's using those internal stories, i.e. whatever it is that's making you think like that, and it's conjuring up a possible outcome, the worst possible outcome, so that it can kind of familiarize itself to make it so that if it happens, it is more prepared. Which I know is obviously a contradiction to what you would want it to do, because by obsessing on it, it's creating it. But what it is trying to do is trying to make it safe so that when you are in that situation, you can handle it a little bit better instead of being like a deer in the headlights and completely fucking it all up. But the worst thing that it does is it doesn't actually obsess over the best part of it. It doesn't actually obsess over what happens in order to make it familiar and so that you can handle it. It obsesses over the event, the negative shit, but it doesn't obsess over, okay, that's happened, what do we do about it? And that's why we constantly dwell on the worst case scenarios and it never actually gets us anywhere, because our mind is obsessing over the scenario, not the solution. What I'm recommending that you do here, and again it's something that I use myself all the time whenever I'm in a state of fear, is to understand what the solution is of that worst case scenario so that you can be okay with what may happen. This isn't to make it so that you're okay, so that you'll drop your person. This is just there to help you be okay so that you can detach to actually get them better. But let's say, for example, you were fearing a breakup. Consider what you would do then. Okay, they've left my life. What now? Now you want to consider, are you going to start doing hobbies again? Are you going to start seeing family more? What are you going to do about eating? What are you going to do about your living situation? Consider it and plan it. Now, the reason why you're doing this is because you're taking that awful scenario that you don't want to happen and making it more comfortable and safe by considering, if this happens, this is what I will do. By doing this, it will actually help alleviate some of that fear and extension, some of that attachment. Now, like I said, I don't recommend you do this multiple times because all this is going to be doing is focusing on the worst case scenario and therefore creating it. But by at least considering it once or twice, just to have a little bit of a baseline idea and consider that the worst case scenario isn't actually that bad, and if it actually did happen, you could handle it, and here's how. You will then free your mind up a little bit to say, look, we've already dealt with that. We already know what's going to happen. It's already comfortable. It's already safe. And because it's already safe and comfortable, your mind won't need to go back to it as often in order to try to solve it, therefore allowing you to detach from the outcomes. You can go forward more confidently, knowing that if you get it, great. If you don't, it's all good because you've got it handled. This is something, like I said, that I use all the time. If I ever have a state of fear, I will always consider the worst case scenario and then the what then. And that is the thing that always brings me out of a rut and actually helps me go forward being so relaxed with my manifestation. I can't even remember the last time that I was sort of attached to an outcome when manifesting it. When it comes to manifesting and actually consciously creating, I am so relaxed because I make use of these tips that I've just given you, and it makes it so that my manifestation is consistent, efficient, and fast. So I really hope this video has helped you. If it has, drop me a like and a comment to let me know. Sign up for the membership because there's tons of amazing stuff on there that is so undervalued for the amount that the membership costs you. If you're in need of one-to-one help and want the success that this person has had, by all means sign up to my coaching. I'd absolutely love to work with you. Those memberships and the coaching are linked down below in the link tree, which is in the description and the comment section. So sign up for what interests you, and I will catch you lovely, lovely people in the next one. Bye-bye.